question is, how can I get started with Pinterest and my business? Now, I've started doing this whiteboard thing because it slows me down because I get really excited about things. So that's a good thing. One of the first things that we need to think about when it comes to Pinterest is that Pinterest itself is a traffic driver. And that traffic driver is based on Pinterest SEO. That's the biggest thing that you need to be thinking about. When we think Pinterest, I know we're thinking pretty pictures, but right now we're concentrating, how can I use Pinterest for my business? How do I get started? The first thing, Pinterest is a traffic driver based on SEO. That is number one, okay? Number two, the number two thing that we need to be thinking about when we're thinking about Pinterest and our business is, you guys, you need to ask yourself, what is the goal? Like, I know I should be using Pinterest. I know I should be using all these social platforms, but what is the goal for me in my business? You have always heard me say that the goal for any business, online business, there are really three: traffic, leads, and sales. So we've got traffic right here with Pinterest. The goal ultimately, guys, and I'm gonna have to erase this. Leads. What are leads? Leads are emails. Now I'm going to take you through a complete example here, and then I'm going to answer some questions. So I think that this will be really clear as we move through this whole presentation. The foundation of your business is emails. It is not having a lot of followers on Facebook. It is not having a lot of subscribers on YouTube. It is not, those are rented platforms that we can use, that we can manipulate to drive traffic to emails. And you're like, well, Rhonda, I'm a service provider. I don't even know what I would use an email for. I sell a product. I can understand why I would use emails. Guys, the biggest thing that I can say right now is where your business is right now today. It is going to change in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, and the next 12 months. So instead of being reactive, we today are going to be proactive. And I'm also going to share with you, I've done some tutorials here in this community that you need to go back and watch if you haven't already watched, okay? So how can I get started with Pinterest in my business? Number one, you need to think about Pinterest as a traffic driver based on Pinterest SEO. Number two, the question that you need to ask yourself, what is the goal? More traffic, more leads, more sales. We've got that with Pinterest. Email is going to be your lead, which ultimately gets you to what? Sales, okay? And we're being proactive versus reactive, okay? So I'm going to give you an example of someone here in the community. It's Renee. And her niche, R-E-N-A-Y, her niche that she specializes in, she's a service provider. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe you're using me. Why are you using me? She's a service provider. And two things that I know that she does in her business are, number one, she is a web designer, but she specifically uses Squarespace. She might be WordPress, but probably more than likely, she's just going to be Squarespace, which I think is a smart thing to do, is to specialize. The second thing that I know that she does, because I see her hang out in the Dubsado community, so she does Dubsado. She does a Dubsado setup. If you don't know what Dubsado is a CRM, a customer relationship manager. This can do a lot of automation if you are a service provider. I use Dubsado in a lot of different ways as well. I love Dubsado and the automation within just this program that it offers. And of course, Squarespace is, in case you don't know, is a website builder, okay? It's like WordPress, except it's all in one right there in Squarespace. With WordPress, you have to have the domain. The domain points to wordpress.org, and then you have themes. With Squarespace, it's really, you can point the domain to Squarespace and it has its own hosting. So you don't have to have your own hosting with that. Okay. So what I want you to think about now, if we are like our ultimate goal, even though Renee is not thinking about launching a product, doing anything with the product, nothing. She is solely, she's a busy mom. She works 9 to 5. She is a service provider. And these are the services that she offers, the additional services that she offers. So why do I need to know like where she is here? Why do I care about Squarespace? Why do I care about Dubsado? Because what I want you to do, what I want you to think about here is Pinterest SEO. All right, you've got to master Pinterest SEO. That is like your first thing that you have to do. When I think that she is a service provider, some of the key words that I'm thinking about, and let me just do this in a different pen. I'm thinking she is a virtual assistant, so she's a VA. I'm thinking work from home, and the reason I know, because I've looked up these words, work from home, and Pinterest will guide you, work from home. When I'm thinking Squarespace, some keywords that come to mind is that website design. She can also use what? Squarespace. I'll just put square here. She can also use, you can still use work from home. She could probably go with also work from home, HOME, sorry. She could probably also use graphic design. Now, these are just keywords that I'm brainstorming here, okay? Dubsado, what am I thinking of Dubsado? Well, CRM, typically you don't see customer relationship manager spelled out. You think about business organization. You can't really see this, I don't think. I hope so. You can hear me. Business organization. You think of, let me just change it, automation. And you can also think about what? Virtual assistant. Okay. So these are some of the key words that I have already come up with: service provider, Squarespace, and Dubsado. What I want Renee to ask herself is, where is her money coming from? As a service provider, is she selling more on the Squarespace side, or is she selling more on the Dubsado setup side? All right. Right now, what I'm going to pick for her, and she would have to answer this herself, is Dubsado, right? So this is where I am going to concentrate on, all right? I'm going to look up keywords. For me, my goal is to own Dubsado. My goal is to own CRM. My goal is to see what Pinterest SEO comes up when I put in Dubsado, when I put in CRM, business organization, automation, and virtual assistant. This could be a virtual assistant tool. Okay. So Pinterest is a traffic driver. We are looking for traffic, leads, and sales. That's what our goal is. So what are we going to do now that we have identified she's a service provider? She offers Squarespace and Dubsado. And one of the things that we're going to do, we're using the traffic. We're using Pinterest to drive traffic to what? Her offer. This is where I want you to go back. You can find it here in the community, because I believe I've done more than one. Offer creation. I want you to look up that tutorial, because what we are going to do with Dubsado is we are going to create her opt-in. What is this opt-in going to do? This opt-in is going to give her leads, known as emails, right? So go back and take a look at the workshop that I did on offer creation. It really breaks it down step by step how to do it. It can be very easily done. You know that I'm all about framework. You know that I'm all about systems, right? So we have Renee, who is a busy mom who works 9 to 5, who is a service provider. Her biggest source as a service provider is Dubsado. So right now, I'm going to use Pinterest SEO to drive traffic to this opt-in to capture emails. All right. So just for sake of, let me finish this example, go down the road, right? I am thinking of when I get on a call with someone, and Renee would have gotten on calls with several people looking for Dubsado setup. What is their biggest pain point? Like, what is the biggest thing that they have an issue with? I'm just going to give you an example. Let's just say that I'm going to create an opt-in that is 5 steps to set up your CRM. Now, this is generic, right? Why would I make this generic? Not only can we use this for Pinterest, but watch it, wait for it, because I know that this happens all of the time in the Dubsado community. This is her go-to opt-in and her main one, guys. She doesn't need 10, 15, 20 of them that she can drop in this Dubsado community. Because guess what? Guess what I know about Renee? She's a busy mom. She works full time and she's a service provider. So her time is limited. What do I always say with you? That I want to maximize your most valuable asset, and that is your time. We are going to use this opt-in in Pinterest, and we're going to use this because I see this question all the time come up in the Dubsado community. Oh my goodness, I am new to Dubsado. Where do I even start? And then the thread starts, and it's a very long thread. All right. 5 steps to set up your CRM. This right here is going to build her email sequence. Her email list. Okay. Now, you're like, wow, we just hit 2 birds with 1 stone, and we have 1 opt-in. But this opt-in now creates a problem. What does this opt-in, what is the problem that opt-in is creating? Well, it's actually creating more work for her, right? Because what does she have to do now? She has to email her list. The biggest thing that you can do to kill an email list is to have an opt-in, right? You deliver the freebie, and then the traffic stops. All right. Remember at the beginning, I said that her business in the next 3, 6, 12 months is going to change. We're going to be proactive. We're not going to be reactive. We're not going to be here and say, oh my gosh, I have this awesome thing that I want to sell. Oh my gosh, I don't have an email list. What do I need to do? Let me spend a whole lot of money generating leads, and then I'm going to sell to that list. That is the wrong thing to do. All right. What I want Renee to do is I want her now on a weekly basis. And I don't care if there's only 10 people on her list. I want her to email on a weekly basis to these 10 people, right? I want her to send it initially. We'll say send on, say, Tuesday. Then I want her to send unopens to Thursday. What's that going to do? That is going to increase her open rate. And with a small list, she should have a very highly engaged email list, right? The other thing that we also want to watch for is an increase in the open rate, but we also want clicks on links. Because guess what? It does not take a huge list. Let's say, for example, Renee says, you know what? I would love to add affiliate income to my portfolio. I'm a busy mom. I'm working part-time on the service provider, and there's this thing that I know my audience would love, and I could benefit too. Guess what she can add? She can add links, right, to that affiliate income, right? A couple of the other things that you are doing when you are creating this email list and you were emailing them on a weekly basis, it doesn't have to be long, but guess what? You are now training your list. What are you training your list to do? You're training your list for you to be top of mind. Oh, you know what? Renee has emailed me this week. I love her email. I'm going to open it, right? I know that she sends an email every Tuesday. I know that she sends an email every Wednesday, whatever that is. You are now training your list, and now you're also top of mind, and you're pointing them. You are your traffic cop, right? You are directing. You are directing them. One of the biggest things that I have learned, a big takeaway that I've learned from the One Funnel Away Challenge, doing it 3 times and coaching 2 times through this particular challenge, is that it is really important that as you are building your audience, that you help them be a part of your journey. That is, how you're juggling kids and work, how you are juggling. She's a service provider. There are lots of service provider products out there. Guess what? She can tell her list like why she chose to be a service provider. She chose to be a service provider to do this. Oh, guess what? This course is launching right now. This is why I purchased this course. So she can add that affiliate marketing there. You see how all of that works together. But it's all about the story, guys, and it's all about someone being a part of your journey. One of the things that have also come up, and it was an interesting question, you can say, well, I don't have a big following. I don't make $50,000 a month. Why would somebody want to follow me? Somebody wants to follow you because they relate to you. Your story relates to where they are in their business. Now, you may not have children right now, so you might not relate to me when I talk about homeschooling my 4 kids. You guys might not be homeschoolers, right? You're like, well, that doesn't really appeal to me. There are things that people are going to be attracted to you. It could be the way they teach. It could be the way they coach. It could be that they travel with their laptop and they go all over. It doesn't matter. They're going to be attracted to you and your unique voice. You do not start with 100,000 followers. You start with 1. And the purpose here for everyone in this community is more traffic, more leads, and more sales. You may not know ultimately what you want that email list to do, but you got to start building it today. Okay? You can do that with Pinterest. All right? You're creating a habit, right? So what happens in 3, 6, 12 months? Let's say, for example, I want to launch a course now. Now, guess what? We've got a list. We're being proactive. We're not being reactive. The thing about a course, guys, and if you have, it hasn't actually dropped. It's actually dropping tomorrow. Tomorrow's podcast is all about how I'm using community to build my special offer. All right. So that's dropping live tomorrow. I'll pop in here and say, hey, it's live now, guys. Go on over. But what you want to do, and this is, I'm kind of going down a path over here, but when you build that list, you're building your own community. When you have your own community, they will tell you what they want to buy, right? They will tell you, this small community is going to tell you what they want to buy. It's easy as that. The best tutorials that I have ever created were tutorials where my audience literally told me step by step what they wanted. And I'm going to add one thing to that, because there are some things that your audience knows that they absolutely need. And because you are the thought leader within the thing that they're wanting to buy, you add that extra 20% that they don't even know about. And this right here is the pop. This right here is the wow. This is what makes you a successful course creator. All right. Now you're like, what? Did you just see that? Did you just see that journey that we took? So I really quickly, how to use Pinterest in your business. Now I'm going to get to the questions and everything. I'm going to tie everything up with the bow. You know that I always do that each and every time I do these, because I absolutely love doing that. How can I use Pinterest in my business, right? We are going to use Pinterest SEO. we're going to think about the goal. What is the goal? More traffic? Well, I got that with Pinterest. More leads. What's a lead? The lead is the email. And sales, right? This will come. Be patient. What have I said throughout this whole presentation? Where you are right now is going to be different in 3 months, in 6 months, and in a year. I want you to be proactive. And then I gave you the example of Renee. What did I say? Renee's a service provider. She works full time. She's a busy mom. What are the 2 services that she offers? Squarespace and Dubsado. So I started doing a little bit of a brain dump on what I know are pillar keywords using Pinterest SEO. Then I don't know this. Renee's going to have to answer this question herself. What is generating more money, Dubsado or Squarespace? What do I want to put my flag in sand and own it on Pinterest? I'm going to say it's going to be Dubsado. I want you to go back, take a look at our For Creation workshop because it is in this community and you can use that. My suggestion was that she also, when you look at that workshop and she knows what her clients are coming to her for, and I don't want you to think, don't think this. Don't think, well, Rhonda, if I give them the 5 steps to set up a CRM, then they don't need my service. No, I went to someone for service and they laid everything out for me, but I knew that I didn't have time to do it. I hired them to do it. You are not giving everything away, all right? Not everybody is your client, but your clients are out there, right? The people that will want to work with you. So that 5-step, and it's almost like, it's like a proving ground too, right? Does she know her stuff? Do I like the way she communicates? Do I like her opt-ins? Do I like the email sequence that follows, right? So in creating this opt-in, I wasn't just using it for Pinterest, but I was also using it as the go-to in the Dubsado community because I know this question comes up all the time. She is organically, and we don't use that term a lot, right? Organically growing her traffic. Now, let me just really quickly, let me set you up for success here. Organically does not mean 100 subscribers a day, okay? Let's be realistic. If you can get 2 to 20, this is magic. You're not spending any money, but you're getting an email subscriber, right? Then what do? You nurture the relationship, even though you have nothing to sell them right now. Nothing to sell them, all right? Everybody with me? Anybody got any questions? Let's see. Oh, Brandy's on. Kelly, Stephanie, Jill's in the house. Heather, I think it's a recent who, please clarify, send email on Tuesday and open on Thursday. Okay, Jill. What I mean by that, yes. Thank you for hopping in there, Heather. Okay, so that's exactly what I mean. I typically, well, I'll tell you what I used to do because you guys are on my email list. I would send my emails out on Tuesday. If you did not open on Tuesday, then guess what? I'm sending the same email to those people who did not open on Thursday. So it may have gotten lost in the clutter, but here they picked it up. They could have been out of the office on vacation, who knows what's going on, but then they see it again on Thursday. That increases my open rate. I don't think emails are one and done. So that's why I do a reset, okay? That's why I schedule again. I have moved with the podcast launch. I send now on every Wednesday. And then now we are testing to see what Friday opens are like. Because guess what? Fridays, typically people don't send emails on Fridays. So it's just something that we're testing. If you're on my list, I want you to open it up. And here's something too. I'm going to go down a path for just a second. Okay, we're taking a detour. If we do a re-engagement campaign, what does that mean? That means that my list that I'm building every 3 months, we have what is called a re-engagement campaign. So if you're not opening emails from me, I'm paying for those, right? If you're not opening emails from me, that's okay. Maybe you opted into something, but maybe we're not a good fit. That's all right. I'm going to try to re-engage you with my content, but if I don't re-engage you, then I'm going to take you off my list. Why? Because I'm paying for you and you're not accepting the content that I'm giving. And what I want, I don't care if my list is only 4,000, which it is, it's actually over there, but I want them. Right now, it can fluctuate. It can go between, say, 28, we've had as high as 35% open rate. I want a 50% open rate. So most recently, we did this, and I got rid of 800 people. 800 people were not opening up the email. That's okay. They're not my people. That's all right. I'm good with that. I want you to like me. I want you to open up my email. You know what I'm saying? So that we just got back on the path there. All right. Okay. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes here. Okay. All right. And then this is going to kind of wrap it up, but I'm going to answer the questions here too that were asked when I started this thread. I'm going to go back to Pinterest. How can I use Pinterest for my business? The biggest thing, guys, it's not number of boards. It's not group boards. It's not a pretty, it is pretty pictures. The number one thing for Pinterest is that it is a traffic driver, right? What do I mean by that? That if you have optimized SEO, and I'm going to get into that in just a second, if you have optimized SEO, then whatever pin this is, you're going to be able to take this traffic and run it to whatever that URL is that you've listed, right, for that pin. Okay? The key to success with Pinterest and maximizing this traffic is right here, SEO. SEO. I really think that we're going to need to do maybe next week, we'll do a different tutorial or a different Q&A session where I literally show you my desktop and I go through and I show you Pinterest SEO. But I thought that it was important based on the questions that I got, how I can use Pinterest for my business. I mean, I could take you all the way through. Like I'm coaching my daughter right now and teaching her how to manage Pinterest accounts. She's 16, guys. And it's my goal to teach her so she could be a Pinterest manager. So while she's in school, while she's in college, she has a business that's supporting her while she's there. All right. That's something that we're focusing on this summer. Okay. Now, Pinterest, traffic, SEO. And you've heard me. These are like all buzzwords that I have said this entire presentation. What I want you to think about this traffic, Pinterest, really the where Pinterest, what people were using Pinterest were who? They were bloggers, right? And they were driving traffic. They would do pins and they were driving traffic to what? Their blog post. Okay. What did I say at the top of this presentation? Where your business is now will be different in 3 months. It will be different in 6 months. It will be different in 12 months, right? Bloggers are still using Pinterest to drive traffic to a blog post. However, I have always been one to take the path least followed, right? Or less traveled, right? I want you to think outside of the box. So let me write Pinterest here again. And we're going to have an open box. I want you to think outside of the box. If Pinterest is in fact, and this is where we're going to get really excited. Okay, I'm going to start shaking. I'm going to be so excited here, right? Okay, look at that little road, right? It's all coming to me right now. You guys ready for it? You ready for it? I know you're laughing. We're going to think outside of the box, using Pinterest as a traffic driver. Where do you want that traffic to go to? And it is not a blog post. Do I use Pinterest to drive traffic to blog posts? Yes. But where do I use Pinterest right now? I will tell you. It is to my funnel. Funnel, what is a funnel? We've gone over this too. A funnel is a sales message. And guys in my OFA, you know this. You should be saying it. It is a sales message and what? An offer. I hope you can still see that. All right. Sales message and an offer. Okay. Do you see how we just tied all of that up? So people are like, how do I use Pinterest for my business? Because I don't have a website or I don't blog. So how can I use Pinterest? We use Pinterest traffic and we point it to where we want it to go to. Guys, you can use Pinterest to drive to Facebook Lives. You can use Pinterest and drive it to YouTube. And the cool thing is when you put the YouTube URL in the pinned description, guess what populates in Pinterest? Your YouTube video. My traffic to Pinterest, I have pins that go to YouTube all of the time for my videos on YouTube. I use Pinterest going to my funnel. This is all I care about. I have a website. I have written blog posts on my website. I want you to get into my funnel. What is in my funnel? My first page is an opt-in. My next page is a tripwire. And guess what? I have an email sequence that's firing off now in the background working. And then ultimately, I have a product, which is coming out next month. It's actually my signature offer. Guys, you got to listen to tomorrow's podcast, okay? It gives me bumps. Gives me bumps. There are people in this community. They're a part of it. Can't wait for it. Okay. All right. So do you see how we just tied all of that up in a bow, right? So some of the questions that came about, and this will continue to drive this home, okay? So one of the questions that Renee asked was, do I need a Pinterest business account? So she already has an account. Does she need to start from scratch, or does she just make it a Pinterest account, a Pinterest business account? What's the difference between the two? With a Pinterest business account, you are going to have access to analytics, analytics, and you also have access, I hope you can see this, promoted pins, okay? And you're like, Rhonda, well, I don't want to do promoted pins right now. That's okay, mark it off, that's fine. But I want to have the option. I want to know like what pins are performing, what pins are not performing, like what's driving traffic, because I want to do more of that, right? So I want to have access to analytics. The other thing that you're going to get with this Pinterest business account, you getting that promoted pin, but guess what? You can put the tag in the header of your website and the header of your landing page. Mind blown. We can start building an audience. You should have also done this with Facebook, with your Facebook page. You should get your Facebook pixel, and it should be in the header of your website. It should be in the header of your funnel, your landing page, whatever it is you were using, right? So she's like, well, Rhonda, I have a personal account. What do I do with all the things on there? As you optimize this business account, all you have to do are boards that you've already created that really don't reflect what the Pinterest SEO, the pillar keywords that you're going for, make them secret. Don't start from scratch. I would not start from scratch. I would just convert it to a business account. You have access to analytics, promoted pin, you can grab the tag. And you're like, Ryan, I'm not doing all that right now. That's okay. Remember, 3-6-12. We don't know what's coming next year. Okay? So Renee asked that. Arsh asked that as well. It doesn't, a business account does not cost anything extra. Now, obviously, if you do promoted pins, that's going to cost extra. right? I'm going to recommend the business account. Ultimately, what you want with your business account is that you want 5 to 7 pillar keywords that relate to your niche. That is why at the very beginning, remember when I talked about Dubsado? What did we talk about? We thought outside the box, right? We talked about VA. We talked about work from home. I'm not going to write all these. Work from home. We talked about, what were some of the others that we said? Business organization, CRM, automation for your business. These are like pillar keywords. Ultimately, you want 5 to 7 pillar keywords, and you want 4 to 5 boards that support each one of these pillar keywords, right? So if I was doing a diagram for a business account, and I'll post the picture. My daughter has a chalkboard in her room, and I will post, let's see, that's 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll say 7, right? So these are 7 pillar keywords that relate to the content that I am producing, right? The niche that I want to attract. And then under each one of those, we should have 4 to 5 boards that support the pillar keyword. That's what the structure should look like. And all of this is based on what? Pinterest, SEO. Pinterest, SEO. All right. How are we so far? How are we? We good? We all good? All right, let me see where I am in my notes. The only other thing that I would say for your business profile is that you optimize just the actual description, and that again is also based on Pinterest SEO. All right. So Arsh, I've answered your question too. So if you don't have a website, where am I going to drive my traffic to? You're going to drive your traffic. If, let's say, for example, you have picked YouTube and you want to grow your YouTube channel, you don't have a website, then all of that content that's on YouTube, I have a pin that relates to that content, right? I have a pin that relates to that, or that drives traffic to each one of those YouTube videos. And then I'm going to freshen a pin up. What does that mean? It means that I could have like 3 or 4 different pins for the same piece of content. It's just a different image. Pinterest likes fresh. All right. Now, another question that Arsh had asked, and I kind of have already answered this as well. How can I use Pinterest to push people to my funnel? All right, we've got Pinterest. How do we do it? Push people to my funnel. All we do is you have a pin, right? This overlay, we'll just say, we'll just call this how to become a VA, okay? This is Pinterest SEO right here. This is what you want, the text overlay, right? Then we have the description, right? This is Pinterest SEO as well. The URL where we're pushing people to from this pin goes to your funnel. What does that mean? That means an opt-in. It means a tripwire. And it could be a sales page. It could be an offer. Okay? Pinterest straight to the funnel. Pinterest straight to Facebook. You know, I will tell you, to be honest with you, because I tested Pinterest to Facebook, Pinterest to YouTube for me at the time did better, but Pinterest is getting more into video, so that could change. So the thing is, you know, and you hear me say this all the time, it's never one and done. You have to constantly be working and testing. You can't just do it once and say it didn't work for you, right? Because your content on Facebook could be different from mine. I know that Arsh helps people get viral videos. So yes, do that, right? But don't think because you are not a blog writer that I cannot use Pinterest. I have just shown you how to use Pinterest. You want to harness the traffic highway, the traffic superhighway of Pinterest, and put it where you want it to go. Put it whatever direction you want it to go. That pin URL goes to where you want people to go. You are the director of that traffic, right? It's really important that you have that email sequence. And you're like, what is an email sequence? Let me just really quickly, at minimum, you're going to have a delivery email. What is a delivery email? That gives them the freebie, right? Thank you so much. I'm so excited that you're here. Here is the freebie that you were looking for. And then what is the next thing that you're talking about? Hey, my name is Rhonda, and this is what I do. I would love to invite you to my Facebook group, right? I want you in my group. I want you guys here, right? Then what is the next thing to do? Well, let's say they had the freebie. It went to a tripwire and they didn't buy. Hey, did you enjoy that freebie? Well, I have this training that can also help with whatever problem it is, right? And you can have a couple more in there, and then you have your weekly email. Does this take time? Yes. What is your most valuable asset in your business? What is your most valuable asset? You'll probably disagree, but I've told you, with my event, I have an email list. When I open up registration, within 3 days, I have 300 paid participating registrations within 3 days. And you're like, yeah, of course you do, Rhonda. You have a targeted list. You've been doing this for a while. You do that too. That's why I have an email list right now of 4,000. We grow about 1,000 a month. However, if I've got, and the I guess the cleanse, the detox, whatever you want to call it, we had 900 people that were not opening in the past 3 months. And we did a re-engagement campaign, and guess what? 100 people said, yeah, I still want to do it. Okay, awesome. But then we let 800 go. Why did we let 800 go? These people are costing me money, but they're not opening the content. It's not, it sounds bad. Well, no, it doesn't sound bad. It's an investment. So I am producing content every single week. If it's a podcast, if it's a YouTube, it's Instagram, it is a blog post, it is an email. I'm producing content every single week that I feel, based on my experience and in my business, that will help you in your business. And I am bringing you into my environment, my sphere here, right? And if you don't accept what I'm giving you, that's okay. It's all right. The initial thing that you got, I hope that it gave you value, because really my main opt-in is that #1 Trello board. And I have a challenge coming in the community. I cannot wait to share with you the challenge that's coming. It's coming in May. Get ready. But if you didn't find value, that's all right. We can still be friends, but you're not on my email list. And you know what? They may come back, something else. It's a different time in their business, because what? We go to the 3, 6, 12 rule, right? What's happening now is going to be different in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Trust me on that. Okay? So I'm going to go back to the most important question. Okay, yes. Okay, let me see. Yes, SEO is a stinking over my head and a skill I need to get hold of. Jessica will take care of that. No worry. Arsh said, why should we choose Pinterest over Facebook? What are the advantages? Okay, great question. Because I think that with Pinterest, currently, now you guys know that they're going public. You guys know that I promote Monica Froze. I promote her promoted pin course. Why do I highly promote that? Because right now for promoted pins, you're on the ground floor and you are learning as Pinterest is learning. And you're already taking an amazing traffic driver organically. Like, you don't hear people talk about, I can't get anything with organic. 9 times out of 10, you don't hear people say that about Pinterest. But what do you hear people? You got to pay to play with Facebook. I post on my Facebook page all the time, but you got to pay to play, right? Most times that I'm on my Facebook page, people are not going to see me. I do intention with Pinterest. I use Pinterest. I use their rules. Even though I use Facebook rules, I am not getting the organic traffic that I can get with Pinterest. And if right now you're saying, Rhonda, I don't have money to invest in promoted pins, Facebook ads, whatever, then I want you to use their platform the way they intended for you to use their platform, go by their rules, and get as much organic juice and just be every single day building this list on autopilot. Because 6 months from now, something may happen in your life where you need an audience and you don't have an audience. I want you to start building that audience now. Today's podcast or yesterday's podcast was about how to use a goal setting system. Guys, it's easy. She commented in one of my other groups. She's like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Are you kidding? Does this really work? Yes. Go listen to that. I'm on iTunes and Stitcher and where else? Google Play. We are working on Alexa and Spotify. When I get those two, my kids are going to think I'm the best thing since sliced bread, right? But listen to that easy strategy and start incorporating Pinterest in what you do today. I think the questions that surround how can I use Pinterest in my business are because we are thinking about Pinterest and bloggers. That's not to say that Pinterest is still not driving traffic to blogs. They are. You do not have to write blog posts to harness the benefit of Pinterest. Direct the Pinterest traffic where you want it to go. Does everything need to be perfect? No. I was talking in a group about my podcast. I said, well, they're only 7 to 15 minutes. I think they need to be longer. And everyone's like, the reviews that are there, people are saying, I love it. It's bite-sized and I can do it very quickly while I'm doing the dishes and I'm done. And you give me some strategy that I can implement today, right? I'm critical of myself and I say, well, the audio doesn't sound as professional as, say, Amy Porterfield. I'm just telling you how it is, guys, what I'm thinking. I always want to strive to be better and to give you better, to give you more. Okay, that's really, really important to me, what your user experience is like. So I've got a goal for myself. And when we reach that goal, I'm getting a nice new professional microphone, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect. If it had to be perfect, I would not have going on, 8 episodes of my podcast already published, right? The podcast artwork, that's me. I use Canva. I went to YouTube. I used, and I've been listening to him forever. I haven't listened to him in a while. Pat Flynn. I went through his tutorials. I used Squarespace. I got on to tech support. I figured out how to put my RSS feed. And so that's how iTunes happened. That's how Google Play happened. That's how Stitcher happened. And now I'm working on Spotify and Alexa. Okay. I do it all myself first and I get myself in a pattern and a rhythm. I test it. I try it. I fail forward. And then I share with you what my experience is. Why would you want to use Pinterest over Facebook? Because if you want organic traffic to be working for you in the background, Pinterest is going to be your key. Facebook is not going to be your key. By developing that lead magnet, just like I said, the 5 steps to set up your CRM and dropping that in Dubsado, who knows how many people are going to opt in from that? Who knows? One of those could be her client, right? Okay. Are we all good?